Alright, in this video, we're going to look at how to get some more lyrics from azlyrics.com in the event that you have been unable to get lyrics for a certain song. Even though the lyrics may be up there on AZ Lyrics, if your song title or your artist name does not match what's on AZ Lyrics, it will not pull it. And sometimes that can happen based on if you have, let's say, you've got some music on your device and there's like a extra word, like if you have an artist and it says featuring such and such, it might not be used like that on azlyrics.com. Now, before we dive into this tutorial, there's two things you need to check out if you haven't. Over at my YouTube channel, the music lyrics video I did earlier this year, just in case if you've seen it and you may have noticed your lyrics aren't showing up correctly, notice I did put a little thing up here, view pinned comment for updates. So the pinned comment right here, if you click on that, it'll take you to this image. And this is going to be the new regex code that we want to get in order for our lyrics to show correctly. Apparently the source code changed at azlyrics.com, so I've changed the regex a little bit to get it to show up, and it works just fine, and it's been working fine for about the past month. And then something else you also want to check out, just about an hour or two ago, I did post a video on using a Notepad and a text edit app where we can create a to-do list where we're going to use this same text edit app to correct the song title or to correct the artist name. And the way I have it set up, what we're going to do is we're going to type in the song title and the artist name. It's less coding, and ultimately it's just a little bit of typing you have to do, and just like that you can get your lyrics. Granted, they match azlyrics.com. Now let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about in this tutorial. So over on Spotify, Chris Cornell, one of his, I think it's actually the last album he did, rest in peace, I still can't believe it to this day, big fan. But I have his song lyrics over here, Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart. If I come over here to Spotify and I play Dead Wishes, as you can see, it's pulling that just fine. Worried Moon, give it a second to load. Let me scroll up. Worried Moon. As you can see, these are working just fine. And this is the same component, except I've made a few modifications. Right now, I have it straight up pulling from azlyrics.com. So everything's matching up perfectly for me to get these lyrics. But I have two new buttons here. I have a fix, and it's set to off right now. And then I have this little plus thing where I can manually edit the song title. Now let me just go through a few more of these over here before we disappear. That's loading up just fine. But let me come on down here to Murderer of Blue Skies. If I press play on that, we don't see anything. And if I recenter it, it's going to say loading. This is what happens in KLWP if you have a song title or an artist that it doesn't match up with AZ Lyrics. Well, check this out. So what I want to do is I'm going to cut my fix on, and this is changing some of the coding in KLWP, and we're going to dive into that in a minute. Well, it turns out this is the correct name of the song. It's Murderer of Blue Skies, and I mean, I just double checked it here. It's a great song. You should listen to it. But look at what azlyrics.com has it labeled as. Murder of Blue Skies. All right, so what we want to do here is we need to change it to make it match up with AZ Lyrics. We need to change it to Murder. Now, sometimes it's just going to be a matter of you know the song title on your device is wrong, or you know that the artist name is maybe misspelled, so you can do a quick search. But let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So if I click on this button right here, it's going to open up that same text edit app that I mentioned. You should watch that video a few minutes ago. I mentioned that. Well, what I have here is basically I have dollar symbols and I have some @ symbols, and these are just to help me out with the regex. So what I want to do, these dollar symbols, I'm going to put my song title in between here, and I want to put the song title, not the correct one per se, but the one that's at azlyrics.com. So Murder of Blue Skies. I know it's Murderer, but I'm trying to match with azlyrics.com. So I'm putting that between my dollar symbols. Think of the dollar symbols as S's. So we want our song there, no spaces. And then between these @ symbols, think A for artist. So let's type in Chris Cornell. Okay, so now that I have that, if I click save on this, and if I go back to the home screen, check out what just happened. I have my fix set to on, and it actually did load those lyrics. Because what I did is I changed it. The way that it's showing on Spotify, and that's actually the correct name for that song, Spotify and KLWP is seeing it as Murderer of Blue Skies, but actually azlyrics.com has it called Murder of Blue Skies. You need to edit that. So here's the other thing you have to remember though. If I go to another song now, Like if I go to higher truth, it's not changing over here because I have my fix set to on. Well, what I could do multiple things here. I could go back and just change the song title here real quick. And I actually don't have to do this, but I want to show you. Higher truth, same artist. I'm just changing the song title in there. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to the home screen and notice it did load higher truth. So this is with the fix on. Now, it turns out if I cut the fix off, AZ Lyrics will find this song just fine because it matches up perfectly with KLWP. So I hope you get my point there. Sometimes you can't, AZ Lyrics will not get that song because KLWP, the artist name and track title don't match up. That's when you can use this fix and you can technically manually edit this on your own. Let's go into KLWP and have a look. So this component will be added to the Play Store under KLWP Toots relatively soon, sometime in the near future, but it's Lyrics V3 and it's going to be called With the Notepad Fix. This is where we can use the notepad to fix our lyrics. So I'm going to go inside of that component that I have here, and we do have some new globals to add. If you have watched the tutorial and you've made this, you need to go in here and make a few changes, and the things that we want to change are going to be the following. We still have our button color, up, down is not going to change. The URL is going to change, but I'm going to come back and show you that right here in a second. What we want to do is create an on-off button, and I'm going to call it fix. This is what we can cut on and off. Notice that right there. If AZ Lyrics pulls the lyrics just fine, you want to leave this thing off. But if you want to type in your lyrics manually, you want to cut this on, and that's going to switch the way this URL works. Keep that in mind. I'm going to come back and talk about that in a second. And then what we want to do here is I have two text globals. One is called fix song and the other one is called fix name. This is going to fix the song title. This is going to fix the artist name. Okay. I just wrote fix name. I could have typed in fix art or something like that, but we got fix song, fix name. And here's what we're going to do inside of this thing. So if you recall a few minutes ago, I did show you that text file, and I'm going to open that back up right now real quick. So this thing right here, we have this text file and it's fixlyrics.txt. I want to get my path name. I mentioned that in the previous tutorial. If you can't find your path name, I did give you an option there to find it. But we have these dollar symbols, and I'm going to put the song title in between that. And then we have these @ symbols, and I want to put the artist name in between those. So let's go back and look at KLWP, and let's check out this source code that I have set up. So right now, I'm inside of my, which one am I inside of? I forgot. Okay, I'm trying to fix song. So I'm going to fix the song. And what we want to do here is I'm going to go through it with you step by step. The first thing we want to do is a web get. Almost like what I did in the previous tutorial with my to-do list. And I'm going to back, and I'm going to come right back to here. Now, I'm not doing, you could do raw here. We could change this to raw if we want to. That's going to be just fine. It's the exact same thing as text, but I'm going to use raw. Why not? Now what I want to do here, since I'm trying to fix the song title, I want to get this word higher truth. So I mentioned earlier, by us putting these symbols and typing the things in between it, we can do some basic regex here. So TC, now what I'm trying to do here is I want to cut out, all I want to get is higher truth. So I really want to get rid of all of this @ Chris Cornell and the @ symbol. So let's get rid of that first. Let's get rid of @ and everything after it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do TC, reg, comma, I'm going to do some regex on that raw file you just saw. So after that parentheses, I'm going to put a comma, and I want to search for the @ symbol. And then when we put dot star, you can think of it when I'm doing dot or dot asterisk. When I do that after this @ symbol, it's going to search for @ and it's going to search for everything that occurs after that @ symbol. Let me close that up. What do I want to replace it with? Absolutely nothing. I've mentioned that in a bunch of my regex videos, where I just do double quotations to replace with nothing, and let's close it up. So what just happened there, if you recall, we did have @ Chris Cornell and with the @ symbol. That first @ symbol and then this dot asterisk is searching for that first @ symbol and everything after it, and it's replacing it with nothing. Now I can still come over here and type stuff, but I'm not worried about that right now, because that's what I want. Now what I want to get rid of are the dollar symbols. So I'm going to do another TC reg to get rid of these dollar symbols. But let's be careful. We have to escape the dollar symbol, since KLWP can confuse that with the dollar symbol for our function. So I'm going to do TC reg, comma, come to the end right after that parentheses there, but before the dollar symbol. What do we want to search for? You may say, oh, we just want to search for the dollar symbol. Well, that is right, but watch, this isn't going to work. Comma, what do we want to replace it with? absolutely nothing. And let's close it up and notice nothing happened. We're searching for the dollar symbol, but we didn't get rid of it, and we're supposed to replace it with nothing. Here's what you have to do. You have to escape it. Basically, we want this thing to register as a dollar symbol and not some other type of special behavior or whatever. So the way we escape that is you want to do that backslash, not the question mark key, but the one above the enter key, the one above the return key. So make sure the backward slash is going this way and not the other way. But notice what just happened there. If I take away that little symbol that I just did, the escape key, they're there. But if I escape that dollar symbol, it does get rid of them. And just like that, we have fixed our song. So very similar to fix song, we want to fix name, but let me go through this one step by step with you. So let's do a web get on our file, and we're going to do raw yet again. I know I have text here, but we could do raw. There's nothing wrong with that. Text works just fine as well, but I'll just come back in here and change it to raw. So now we want to fix the artist name. So I want to get Chris Cornell. Well, how are we going to do this? The way we could do this is we can get rid of everything in front of this dollar symbol. That's what we can do first. So let's do that. TC reg. All right, we want to search for the dollar symbol and everything in front of it. So, comma, and now let me put this inside of quotations. So dot asterisk, escape our dollar symbol, and let's replace it with absolutely nothing. So let's talk about what happened right there. What just happened there is it's going to look, and technically what this does is it's greedy and not greedy. Look up some regex stuff, but nonetheless, we had two dollar symbols here earlier out front. Well, it's going to search for a dollar symbol, and it's going to look for everything that occurs before it. Notice my dot asterisk is before this dollar symbol, whereas in the one I did a while ago, a few minutes ago, I had the dot asterisk after the @ symbol because I wanted to get everything behind it. But now I want to get everything in front of the dollar symbols. So it's replacing it with nothing, and now all we have to do is get rid of these @ symbols. And if I recall, we don't have to escape that one. So TC reg, come over here to the end, put a comma, search for the @ symbols, and replace them with absolutely nothing. And just like that, we have fixed our name. Now there's some more we have to look at here, but there are other ways of doing this. Suppose like the name was correct and the song wasn't. There is a way, I'm not going to talk about it here, that you could just fix the song title without having to fix the name, but it requires more coding and more work. And right now I think this is plenty for you to soak in. And plus it's just a matter of you typing in the song and typing in the artist name to get your lyrics. So we're doing two pieces when we do our fix. Now let me show you where this stuff gets used, the fix song and the fix name. Remember I had an on-off button as well, and when we want to fix something, we want to cut it on. If we don't want to fix it, we want to cut it off. Well, here we go. My fix is set to off for right now. Let me go back to my URL because I mentioned it was going to be different. So inside of the URL, this code has changed a little bit. We're still doing http www.azlyrics.com/lyrics/ and now here is our new part. This is what's different than the tutorial I did back in February. Back in February, I think, or whenever I did that lyrics tutorial, all I had was this right here, the TC load, TC reg, music info, artist, blah, 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 blah. Well, now I have this new part. I have an if-then statement. So if my GVFix button, if my button is on, if GVFix, that means if our fix button's on, then we want to fix our name. So I want to use that GVFix name. That's that text global variable where we fix the artist name just in case your artist name is incorrect. Well, what if the GVFix is not on? Then I want to use the same thing back I did in the tutorial back in February on the music lyrics, where we just do the regex on the music artist, and I think we remove some spaces and all that stuff. Well, that's exactly what you want to do right here. That's the same part, but this is the new part for the URL. And then also down here we have a backslash. So that's how we're getting Chris Cornell. In this case, whether my GVFix is on or off, it doesn't matter because the artist name is Chris Cornell and it's not coming up incorrectly. However, we also want to change the song title if GVFix is, whether GVFix is on or off. So if GVFix is on, we want to use our GVFix song. That's what I did a few minutes ago, where I showed you how to get the song, where you're going to type the song in on that text editing app. and then it will pull it in here, but that's only going to show up if your GV fix is on, if you cut your fix on. Well, what if GV fix is not on? You're going to do this code right here, which is the exact same thing back in the tutorial I did on the music lyrics back in February of this year. So whether GV fix is on or off, it's going to change this name and this right here. So the name of the artist and the song title. And to show you that, let me come back in here and let me cut the fix on. When we cut the fix on, what it's going to do there is it's actually going to, let me come back in here. If you remember back at the beginning of the video, I went in and I typed in the Murderer of Blue Skies, but I changed it to Murder of Blue Skies. But then I went in and typed in Higher Truth with Chris Cornell. So since my GV fix is on, it's going to use that GV fix name and that GV fix song. And those are those two text global variables that we have right here. As you can see, fix song is Higher Truth, and the fix name is Chris Cornell. And that's what's showing up in this URL now because I have my GV fix on. As you can see, Chris Cornell, Higher Truth. Whereas if I back out of here and I go to cut my fix off and I come back to my URL, it's going to be pulling whatever my music player has. So right now, Chris Cornell and Circling, it just changed, but Circling must be the song that's playing, as you can see over here. The songs have just been changing as we go through this. So I can come back in here and I can do like Bend in the Road. Notice it did change right there, Bend in the Road. Now again, to kind of bring it all back together and show you what happens, if I click on this one, it's going to change to Murderer of Blue Skies. But remember, it doesn't need to be Murderer because AZ Lyrics uses Murder of Blue Skies. So how do I get rid of that ER? That's the whole point of us having that GV fix. So let me check that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my text app back up again. And I'm going to change this song title to Murder of Blue Skies, just to match AZ Lyrics. All right, so let me save that. Let me go back into KLWP. And now if I click on this, okay, so is my GV fix on? I don't think so. So let's come down here and cut it on. Let's see if it's going to refresh it correctly. And I think it did. Check it out. It's no longer Murderer because my fix is on. I edited my text file and I changed it. Instead of it being Murderer of Blue Skies, I did Murder of Blue Skies. And what else do we have to do here? Actually, you may say, okay, well, how do we get this stuff to show up? You know, how do I get this to work? That tutorial that I did back in February, it still covers all of that. And then there was another one too where I talked about how to get your scroll to work, how to scroll through your lyrics. So, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot you need to watch up until this point because I'm not going to go over how do I get it all separated and get this showing up nice because that still works the same way as what it did in the other video. And as long as you incorporate that regex code to fix it in the pinned comment that you see, oh, that's the wrong one. As long as you go back to the KLWP music lyrics tutorial and use that regex code right there, that will fix your regex and get all your enters and everything in. And there you have it. That's how you can manually type in your song name, type in your artist name using a Notepad app in KLWP to get those lyrics to show correctly. And that's it for this video. I hope it helped.